Located at 1 Phạm Văn Đồng, Cầu Giấy, Hà Nội, is University of Languages and International Studies, ULIS for short. One of the 7 member universities of Vietnam National University, Hà Nội, VNU. After over 6 decades of operation and development, ULIS has been recognized as the national leading center of foreign language teachers and specialist education. Among 9 main faculties, Faculty of English Language Teacher Education, FELTE, is an indispensable part, attracting a huge number of enrollments every year. With 60 years in operation, the faculty has established its position for outstanding training and learning achievements. Over the past years, FELTE has successfully trained thousands of MA, EA, and PhD, who are the main contributions of human resources to academic institutions and multinational corporations. Each year, about 550 students gained access to FELTE ULIS to acquire the C1 level in the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages (CEFR) standard. Within the first 2 years, students get to practice 4 skills to enhance their language proficiency and learn the specialized knowledge and skills within the final years. Among 4 skills practiced in the first 2 years, speaking skill always has much focus since it is indispensable in both majors, language studies and language teacher education. Learning speaking skills requires students to talk, express, and share their ideas and opinions in class. In order to yield positive learning outcomes for students in these lessons, active classroom participation is of utmost importance as, according to Tartar in 2005, it is a key factor determining the success of education and students' achievements in the future. Higher level of participation has been associated with better grades, higher satisfaction, and motivation. However, participation of college students in many universities has been recorded as insufficient. Only a handful of students do actively raise their voice and contribute to class discussions, while others do not. This reticence in second language classrooms had been reported as a distressing issue in particularly Asian countries. It was substantiated by a number of studies investigating foreign language classrooms either in Hong Kong, mainland China, or Thailand. Nevertheless, there were very few studies investigating participation level in English as a foreign language learning situations in Vietnam in general, ULIS in particular. The concern about this topic and the scarcity of research in this area in Vietnam lead to our study examining the culture of students' presence and engagement in the learning context. The research included 2 parts, the interview and questionnaires. At the first stage, we asked some participants to first have an interview with us to figure out their opinions of participation, their self-evaluation of their participation in speaking class, as well as the factors that influence their level.
Of course I do, because I think that if you want to learn something, especially a new language, aside from your mother tongue, you have to practice. And by practicing, I mean we have to actively take part in activity held in class.
It varies, depend on each person mindset, but I believe that it's mainly important because showing your participation in English speaking class or engage in the lesson is a way of showing your need to learn, your want to be a part of that lesson, and so that you are like utterly like that lesson.
Mình nghĩ rất là quan trọng tại vì một cái tiết học liên quan đến kiểu thực hành nhiều như là nói ấy, thì cái việc là học sinh phải tham gia rồi là tiếp xúc rồi trao đổi với nhau để mà có thể thực hành được cái kỹ năng nói với lại thế thì rất là tốt.
My point of view, participation is quite important in English speaking class because practice makes perfect, and the more you participate in the speaking activities, the better your English become, and you can gain your fluency through participation.
From my point of view, in English speaking class, the collaboration among students are the key factors, which is affect the level of affect the level.
Question 1. All 5 participants agreed on the significance of participation, especially in lessons requiring active oral communication like speaking. They believe that it is a form of showing their desire to learn and a way to boost their skills.
Well, to be honest, I'm a kind of person who loves communicating. So if I have to evaluate my participation level, I think it's quite good.
I must say that I'm quite active in English speaking class because I don't want to sadden the lecturers. I don't know, but in my class, my other peers are not always very active. They often seem to be silent, and the lecturers sometimes be discouraged by their silence. So I want to show my support, my encourage to the lecturer.
Mình không đánh giá cao cái tần suất tham gia của mình trong các tiết học, nhưng mà tại vì là mình rất là ngại, trong một người rất là ngại nói ấy. Nên là thường thì nếu mà cô giáo đặt câu hỏi hoặc là yêu cầu phải thảo luận trong lớp thì mình mới bắt đầu nói, chứ còn không thì mình sẽ rất là im lặng.
If I have to evaluate the level of participation in our English speaking class on a scale of 5, I would give it 3.5. It's about the average, but not too much.
Evaluate, how to say? In my English speaking class, it's gonna be 7 out of 10. I think so. Sometimes students in my class feel tired of.
Question 2. When asked about their self-evaluation of their participation level in class, their answers vary. 4 out of 5 interviewees reported that their participation was above average, while one was quite unwilling to raise voice in class. There were 2 participants that were quite confident with their participation.
I think to me it has 2 reasons, 2 elements. The first one is the way that the teacher deliver the lecture. I mean, like, is it interesting enough, or like, do we have a lot of games to play? And the second factor is their students' proficiency in English. Because, for example, if a student's vocabulary is good, and that means they have a lot of new words to say, then they will tend to participate more actively in the class. But if the vocabulary is not that good, they will be likely to stay silent because they don't know what to say. They're shy.
Well, I say in the survey that my emotions sometimes affect the way I talk in my class. Sometimes I don't want to talk at all. Sometimes I just want to keep silent. But sometimes I think that it is a class atmosphere that prevented me from speaking out loud, because maybe my university friends will think that I am such an arrogant, or I want to prove my point so much. So I just keep silent. Yeah, it's a class atmosphere.
Mình nghĩ là sự tự tin và đặc biệt là việc là người ta cảm thấy là cái vốn từ vựng với lại ngữ pháp của mình người ta không ổn. Có thể là thêm cả phần là người ta ít được tiếp xúc với cái việc là mình phải nói trong tiếng Anh, người ta vẫn thích cái đấy là nói bằng tiếng Việt hơn. Hoặc là người ta ngại. Và tóm lại là thứ nhất là ngại nói, thứ hai là người ta không có cơ hội để thực hành nhiều.
Okay, thanks for your interview.
Đối với bản thân mình thì thêm một cái nữa đấy là ngoài không ngại nói môi trường hoạt động không nhiều này, thì một cái nữa đó là cảm thấy thừa thãi. Bởi vì mọi người thấy là cái nếu mà đến nói việc thi cử của Huyền thì của nước mình thì toàn là người ta nghĩ đến việc là làm về ngữ pháp với lại làm bài tập, ngữ pháp với lại từ vựng để làm bài tập thôi, chứ còn liên quan đến các kỹ năng như nghe với lại nói để mà mang đi thi thì đến khi mà tận lúc lên đại học của mình mới được thực hành nhiều về cái đấy, chứ còn chủ yếu vẫn là học về ngữ pháp với lại từ vựng.
In English class, I think there are three main factors that can have a huge influence on the participation of the students. The first one is the difficult level of the question the teacher give his or her students. And the second one is the confidence of the students. And the last one, maybe how the teacher give the question and how she or he delivers the activity to his or her students.
The most important factor, in my opinion, is the teacher. My class has worked with a lecturer who always speak English in class. Most of the time, and there's no chance for her to speak any other language instead of English. So I think the lecturer is the most important.
Question 3. Regarding the factors that have an effect on participation level, 5 participants pointed out 3 main factors: the tutor's way of delivering lectures, language proficiency, and confidence. Other elements mentioned by our participants were peers, mood, and the level of questions posed by lecturers. To have a more general view, we distributed questionnaires to approximately 350 sophomores in mainstream program, both online through the Sophomores group and in their class, and compared the results with what our 5 participants shared. The survey included 22 multiple-choice questions about participation level and 2 open-ended questions regarding the factors affecting that level. Answers to multiple-choice questions were coded and scored from 0 to 60. After that, we calculated the mean score of each participant and the mean score of the whole population. The answers to 2 open-ended questions were carefully coded according to emerging themes to find out the factors. The mean score of the calculation is 33.24 on the scale of 60, which indicates it is just above average. Even though the ratio among genders in ULIS is high, there is no significant disparity in terms of score. The standard deviation is 7.39, which means most sophomores get the mean score from 25.85 to 40.63. Among 332 participants, 170 students get the score higher than mean score, accounting for 51.2%. The remaining 162 students get the score lower than the mean one. The result was surprising to us since we thought the participation level of university students would be quite low. In terms of the factors, some main themes emerged in the data analysis, namely teachers, students, class atmosphere, course, and other factors. Factors related to students accounted for the most responses, with over 300 students mentioning about. Among these factors, students' language proficiency and self-esteem ranked the highest. Some said that their limited vocabulary range and incorrect pronunciation hindered their enthusiasm to speak in class. Students with higher scores do not mention these factors. Regarding self-esteem, most of these students reported that they did not have the courage to share ideas in the discussion because they were afraid of making mistakes and being made fun of. On the other hand, students with higher self-confidence are more active in oral activities. Teacher strengths and way of delivering the lesson is important in motivating students to raise their voice in class. Some students with high participation scores stated that they were inspired by their teachers' humor, passion, and enthusiasm. In contrast, several students with lower scores responded that they were demotivated by not receiving feedbacks from their teachers as they thought the feedback and comments were vital to their improvements. This finding will enable educators to gain a broader insight into the participation of sophomores in mainstream program in their English speaking classes and possible causes that lead to different participation level. After identifying the causes, instructors can adjust their teaching methods and make suitable changes to improve the participation level of students in their speaking classes. In addition, the information presented will enable students to modify their study habits because they can reflect on their own presence and engagement in speaking classes. This will also help them to further develop their academic achievements as they will see the benefits of being active in every classroom endeavor.